Every chosen one reaches a moment in life where the pressure becomes almost unbearable, the silence becomes deafening, and the path ahead seems completely blocked. But what most people don't understand is that these very moments are not signs of defeat. They are indicators of a divine setup. When God is preparing a chosen one for a comeback so great it will silence every doubt and scatter every enemy, the process often looks like everything is falling apart. But in reality, everything is falling into place. Before we dive deep into these powerful signs, take a moment to stay connected to messages that strengthen your spirit. If this message is reaching you at the exact moment you needed it, a moment of confusion, weariness, or transition, type 1111 in the comments section for divine blessings and alignment. And make sure you subscribe, because more messages of clarity, guidance, and divine truth are coming your way. 1. Your life enters a strange, uncomfortable pause. When a chosen one is about to rise, life begins to slow down in ways that don't make sense to the logical mind. It feels as though every area of your life enters an unexplained stillness. Opportunities you thought were guaranteed suddenly become silent. People who used to rely on you or communicate with you begin drifting away. Projects that once carried momentum seem to hit invisible walls. This pause is not laziness, not failure, and not stagnation, though it may feel like all three at the same time. It is a divine interruption. A celestial hand reaches into your timeline and presses the pause button with purpose and precision. When God is preparing you for elevation, He removes the noise that could distract you from hearing His instruction. If He allowed everything to continue at full speed, you would move based on habit, comfort, or routine rather than revelation. This silence you are experiencing is a spiritual recalibration. You may feel restless, uncomfortable, or confused because the pace of your life no longer matches the urgency of your spirit. But that tension is sacred. This slowing down is not punishment, it is preparation. You are being pulled out of your old rhythm so that God can synchronize you with a new one. Breakthrough requires alignment, and alignment requires quietness. It is in this quiet that your intuition sharpens, your spirit awakens, and your distractions fall off. Think of this pause as the moment before a slingshot releases. The further God pulls you back, the greater the force behind your forward launch. What feels like delay is actually acceleration in disguise. What feels like stillness is the gathering of divine energy preparing to thrust you into the next dimension of your purpose. This pause is your spiritual reset. The air becomes still, the noise softens, and the atmosphere shifts, because heaven is preparing to speak direction into your life. And when the pause ends, nothing will ever be the same again. 2. Old things start falling apart all at once. There comes a moment before every major elevation when everything familiar begins to disintegrate. Not slowly, not gently, but all at once, as if life is intentionally dismantling itself around you. People you relied on suddenly become distant. Jobs that felt stable begin showing cracks. Plans you were sure about crumble unexpectedly. Routines that once brought comfort now feel empty and ineffective. This collapse is not random, and it is not an attack. This is divine demolition. God is tearing down the structures of your old life so they don't become cages in your next season. Everything that starts falling apart is falling apart for you, not against you. When destiny calls, anything that cannot carry the weight of your future must be removed. Old relationships that kept you small begin drifting away. Environments that limited your growth become uncomfortable. Habits that kept you stagnant lose their grip. God is stripping away everything that was built on insecurity, survival mode, or broken identity. You cannot rise carrying dead weight from past chapters. This season feels chaotic because you can't see the blueprint yet. When walls are being torn down, it feels like destruction, but to the builder, it is preparation for reconstruction. In the same way, God cannot build your next chapter on foundations that were never strong enough to support your purpose. He removes what you would have settled for so He can give you what you were meant for. Yes, it is painful. Yes, it is confusing. Yes, it feels unfair. But all divine transitions feel like loss before they reveal themselves as upgrades. What you perceive as endings are actually spiritual beginnings wrapped in disguise. The falling apart is evidence that heaven is preparing a new structure, a new path, and a new season that aligns with your true calling. What looks like collapse is actually clearing space for your comeback. 3. You feel a deep inner shift you can't explain. Before anything changes externally, chosen ones always feel the shift internally. It begins subtly, an unexplainable discomfort with what once felt normal. You may find yourself losing interest in conversations that used to energize you. You feel disconnected from old patterns, old environments, and old versions of yourself. You sense that something is off, even though you can't pinpoint what it is. This internal stirring is heaven, signaling that your spirit has outgrown your current situation. You begin craving solitude, clarity, meaning, and deeper purpose. You feel spiritually sensitive, aware of energies, emotions, and intentions in ways you weren't before. You might feel a pull towards something greater, yet you don't know what that greater is. You may experience bursts of reflection, sudden awareness of your own habits, or a rising dissatisfaction with routines that once brought comfort. This shift is the soul preparing for elevation. It is the shedding of old identity layers so the real you can emerge. You cannot ignore this feeling. It follows you everywhere. It shows up in conversations, in your sleep, in your thoughts, and in the quiet moments when you realize you're no longer the same. This inner shift is not anxiety. It is not confusion. It is transformation. It is alignment. It is the spiritual version of a seed cracking open before it becomes a tree. The breaking is uncomfortable, but it is necessary for growth. Your spirit is being tuned to a higher frequency, preparing you for blessings, opportunities, and responsibilities that require a stronger, wiser, more awakened version of you. When heaven is about to elevate you, it upgrades your inner world first. You are being prepared from the inside out so that when the external blessings arrive, your spirit is ready to carry them without breaking. This shift is the first whisper of your comeback. 4. Isolation increases. Not because you choose it, but because you're chosen. Isolation is one of the most misunderstood signs of divine elevation. You're not withdrawing from people. People are withdrawing from you. You're not cutting ties. Ties are being cut for you. Invitations stop coming. Conversations shorten. People who once understood you now feel distant. You may even wonder if you did something wrong. But what you're experiencing is spiritual separation, not social rejection. When God is preparing a chosen one, He removes you from crowds, noise, and familiar patterns so He can work on you privately. Greatness is never formed in public. It is shaped in silence, in solitude, in unseen moments where God strengthens your foundation, clarifies your purpose, and purifies your spirit. If people stayed around you during this phase, their expectations, projections, and opinions would interfere with what God is trying to reveal. The isolation can feel painful, especially when it comes without explanation. But this loneliness is holy. It is heaven's way of saying, I need your attention, I need your surrender, I need your spirit still enough so you can hear me. Every chosen one goes through a season where they feel forgotten, overlooked, or invisible, but that invisibility is divine protection. God is hiding you until the appointed time, when your comeback will speak louder than anything you could say. You may wonder why relationships are falling away. But the truth is this: not everyone can go where you're going. Not everyone can handle the anointing you carry or the future you're stepping into. Isolation removes access from those who might contaminate your growth, interrupt your healing, or sabotage your elevation. This season is not about losing people, it's about gaining clarity. It is a cocoon season, where the caterpillar disappears from the world before emerging transformed. If you feel alone right now, understand this: you are not being abandoned, you are being prepared. And when the preparation is complete, your comeback will be undeniable. 5. Attacks intensify right before the breakthrough. Right before elevation, chosen ones experience an unusual increase in pressure, warfare, and spiritual resistance. It may come through unexpected emotional turmoil, financial instability, misunderstandings with people, or sudden waves of heaviness that feel almost unnatural. The timing of these attacks often feels cruel. You're already drained, you're already waiting, and suddenly the intensity turns up even more. But this increase in pressure is one of the strongest signs that a breakthrough is near. The enemy does not waste resources attacking someone who is stagnant. He attacks those who are on the brink of becoming dangerous to darkness. These attacks are not random. They are reactions. Your spirit is shifting, your frequency is rising, and your divine purpose is activating. Even before you see it, the spiritual realm feels the movement. The enemy senses your awakening long before you fully step into it. So he tries to confuse you, discourage you, overwhelm you, or push you into giving up right before your blessing arrives. But what you must understand is this: pressure increases before promotion. Storms come before clarity. Chaos rises before breakthroughs manifest. You may feel fatigued, doubting yourself, or questioning if you are even on the right path. Yet this very discomfort is confirmation. Chosen ones do not ascend without opposition. The magnitude of the attack often reveals the magnitude of the destiny waiting on the other side. You are not being punished, you are being refined. Every struggle is strengthening your spirit, sharpening your discernment, and preparing you for the responsibility that comes with elevation. The attacks you face in this season are meant to weaken old versions of you that cannot survive your next level. The fear is being drained out. The insecurity is being confronted. The doubts are being exposed. You are being tested not to fail but to prove what has already been placed within you. And when the breakthrough finally appears, you will realize every attack was a sign. Heaven was preparing to lift you higher. 6. You start losing fear and gaining clarity. In the midst of uncertainty, something strange begins to happen inside a chosen one. Fear starts dissolving. Not because circumstances improve, not because answers appear, and not because the challenges disappear. Fear fades because your spirit begins to awaken to the realization that everything you went through was shaping you, not destroying you. This inner calm is one of the clearest signs that you are entering a season of divine transformation. The panic that once controlled you begins declining. The confusion that used to cloud your thoughts begins clearing. The anxiety that once made you doubt yourself loses its power. This clarity does not come from logic. It comes from alignment. It is the result of God pulling your spirit into a deeper awareness of who you are and whose you are. Suddenly you begin seeing patterns, understanding lessons, and recognizing how your pain prepared you. You stop fearing what's ahead because something inside you knows you are finally becoming the version of yourself God always intended. Your intuition strengthens. Your decisions become more intentional. Your heart becomes steadier. You may still be surrounded by the same circumstances, but your internal world is shifting. The storm may still be raging, but you no longer feel tossed around by it. This peace is not natural, it is supernatural. It is a sign that God is transitioning you from survival mode to purpose mode. You begin to understand the battles you fought, the betrayals you endured, and the delays you faced were not setbacks, they were divine setups for growth. This clarity becomes a compass. It guides you through uncertainty with stability and grace. It shows you that the confusion was temporary and the fear was an illusion. As your spirit becomes clearer, your path becomes clearer. And before long you realize this inner stability is heaven's way of saying, "You're ready. What's coming is greater than what was lost." 7. You begin receiving unexpected signs, dreams, and confirmations. As your comeback draws near, heaven begins communicating with you in ways that feel too precise to be coincidence. You start seeing repeated signs, numbers, symbols, scriptures, phrases, or moments that speak directly to your situation. You might wake up from dreams that feel unusually vivid, meaningful, or prophetic. Even simple conversations with strangers or random moments throughout your day begin confirming what your spirit already sensed but couldn't articulate. These divine nudges are heaven's way of revealing that the season is shifting. When a chosen one is about to rise, God increases communication because He wants you aligned with your next assignment. You may feel drawn to certain messages, songs, teachings, or passages without knowing why. You may feel God speaking to you through intuition, gentle pushes, sudden clarity, or strong internal knowing. These are not coincidences, they are spiritual breadcrumbs leading you toward your next step. At this stage, your discernment heightens. You begin picking up on details you overlooked before. You sense truth more clearly and lies more quickly. Your dreams become more symbolic and purposeful. Your spirit becomes more sensitive to direction. This is God tuning your inner ear so you can hear Him clearly. When destiny approaches, divine communication increases. These signs are meant to remind you that you are not walking blindly. Heaven is guiding you. Your ancestors, angels, or divine helpers are orchestrating synchronicities that reassure your heart. God confirms His message repeatedly because He wants you confident, not confused, aligned, not anxious. Every sign you notice is evidence that the spiritual realm is moving on your behalf. Every dream is a message preparing you. Every confirmation is a reminder that your story is unfolding exactly as it should. These nudges are not accidental. They are preparation for the biggest shift of your life. 8. You feel a sudden burst of purpose, vision, or creativity. Before the comeback manifests physically, it always begins internally. After a long season of heaviness, confusion, or stagnation, something inside you suddenly wakes up. You feel sparks of ideas flowing again. You sense inspiration rising. You feel motivated in ways you haven't felt in months or even years. This is not random. It is the breath of God igniting your spirit. You may begin seeing visions of what you want to create, imagining new possibilities or feeling excitement about your future again. This renewed inner fire is a divine sign that your destiny is being activated. Chosen ones often go through long periods where their creativity feels blocked and their purpose feels distant. But when the comeback is near, God restores everything that felt numb inside you. Your passion returns, your energy reawakens, your focus sharpens. You begin recognizing ideas as instructions, not fantasies. Inspiration becomes guidance, vision becomes prophecy. This creative surge is also a sign that you are stepping into alignment with your true identity. You are no longer thinking from fear, you are thinking from faith. You are no longer creating from survival, you are creating from purpose. The heaviness that once clouded your mind begins lifting, making space for divine downloads. Ideas that were waiting for the right version of you to receive them. You may feel excited, emotional, or overwhelmed by how much is suddenly flowing through you. That is because your spirit is waking up. The seeds of destiny planted in you long ago are beginning to sprout. This is God whispering, "Get ready. Your time is approaching." Your creativity is not returning randomly. It is returning because what you are about to step into requires a renewed mind, a stronger imagination, and a revitalized spirit. Your comeback will be built first in your heart before it appears in your life. 9. You feel an unshakable sense that something big is coming. This final sign is perhaps the strongest of all. Even when nothing in your life outwardly suggests change, something inside you knows that a shift is coming. You may wake up with a sense of expectancy, go through your day with a quiet confidence, or sense a deep inner knowing that your story is about to transform. It is not wishful thinking, not delusion, and not imagination. It is spiritual discernment. Chosen ones can feel destiny before they see it. This inner knowing is proof that your spirit is aligned with what heaven is preparing. It's a calm anticipation that the pain you endured is about to make sense. The lessons you learned are about to become valuable. The tears you cried were watering the soil for the blessings that are now growing beneath the surface. You feel this shift because the spiritual realm is already moving, even if the physical world hasn't caught up yet. Nothing can shake this feeling, not doubt, not delay, not fear. You might still be waiting, but you no longer feel hopeless. You may still be fighting battles, but you no longer feel defeated. You may still be in transition, but you no longer feel lost. That quiet confidence inside you is divine evidence that breakthrough is not only coming, it's already unfolding. This sense of expectancy is the final confirmation that heaven is aligning everything: your steps, your opportunities, your relationships, and your timing. Destiny is positioning itself around you. Blessings are drawing closer. Doors are preparing to open. When a chosen one feels this unshakable shift, it means the spiritual climax is near. Something big is not only coming, it's inevitable. Your comeback is already written, already blessed, and already in motion. If you are experiencing any of these signs, even just 2 or 3, understand this: you are not breaking down. You are breaking through. Your comeback will not be small, silent, or ordinary. It will be a comeback that reveals why the battle was so intense, why the waiting was so long, and why God had to separate you before elevating you. This is the Zillion Mind Channel. If this message reached you at the perfect time, don't forget to type 1111 in the comments for divine blessings, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss a message meant for your spirit. Your comeback is closer than you think. Thank you for watching. Chosen one, there comes a time in your journey when God elevates you not by lifting you onto a throne, but by allowing your presence alone to shake the thrones of the mighty. You may not realize it at first, but there is a divine power working through you, a spiritual authority that does not come from titles, wealth, or recognition. It comes from obedience, humility, and the quiet strength God planted in your soul. When God wants to humble the mighty, He often chooses someone the world least expects, someone overlooked, underestimated, or even rejected. That someone is you. You were not chosen because you were the loudest, the strongest, or the most popular. You were chosen because your heart carries a purity that cannot be bought, and a resilience that cannot be destroyed. The mighty often stand on external power, money, influence, appearance, or status. But you stand on spiritual foundation, and when God is ready to shift the atmosphere, He uses people like you to expose the emptiness of earthly arrogance. These signs will reveal why the mighty become uncomfortable, intimidated, or even humbled by your existence, long before you ever open your mouth. 1. The mighty feel threatened by your silence. Your silence speaks louder than their boasting. You don't need to shout to be heard. Your quiet spirit carries divine weight, a weight that shakes the foundations of those who rely on external noise to feel significant. When you enter a room, You don't enter with fireworks or theatrics. You enter with presence, with a spiritual stillness that cannot be imitated or fabricated. People who are used to dominating spaces with aggression, loudness, or ego suddenly feel an unfamiliar discomfort rising within them. It's not that you are doing anything dramatic or intentional. It's that your inner calm exposes the restlessness inside them. Your silence becomes a mirror they cannot escape. It reflects their insecurity, their fear of being insignificant without the showmanship they depend on. And when God chooses to use you to humble the mighty, He does not need you to make noise. He allows your stillness to carry a message. Your silence becomes a spiritual force field, one that reveals how empty loud authority can be when confronted with genuine inner strength. They feel threatened because they cannot read you, cannot predict you, cannot influence you, and cannot bend your spirit to their expectations. While others raise their voices to prove a point, you carry an authority that requires no volume. Silence, when backed by God's presence, becomes power, and the mighty, who are accustomed to being feared or respected because of their titles or positions, suddenly feel small in front of someone who holds no title yet carries spiritual weight. Your silence humbles them because it reminds them that true power is not noisy. It is steady, grounded, divine, and unshakable. 2. Their confidence shakes when you show up. The mighty may appear bold on the outside, walking with pride, projecting certainty, and maintaining an image of strength. But when God's chosen one walks in, something inside them trembles. Their confidence, which seemed so unbreakable moments earlier, begins to crack beneath the surface. You will see it in small, subtle ways. They begin fumbling over their words, over-explaining themselves, becoming unusually defensive, or suddenly trying too hard to impress people around them. They don't understand why your presence affects them this way, but you do. The anointing you carry is not just spiritual, it is atmospheric. It shifts the energy in the room. It exposes false confidence, artificial dominance, and the insecurities they have hidden behind power, status, titles, or material success. When you show up, the light of God shining through you forces them to confront truths they have avoided, their internal fears, their need for validation, their dependence on position to feel significant. You are not trying to intimidate them. It simply happens because your presence reveals the difference between human-made confidence and God-given assurance. They sense something in you they cannot name: strength without aggression, authority without shouting, influence without trying, power without ego, and that shakes them. They realize, even if they never say it out loud, there is something divine backing you, something they cannot manipulate, something they cannot compete with, something they cannot overshadow. This is why their confidence falters, not because of who you are alone, but because of who is walking with you. 3. They watch you more than they watch themselves. Chosen one. People who consider themselves mighty suddenly become observers in your presence. Individuals who normally command attention, who expect the room to revolve around them, begin shifting their focus toward you without even realizing it. They watch the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you react, the way you carry yourself, and even the way you breathe. They become students in classrooms they didn't plan to attend. And this is not because you are performing for them. It's because the authenticity you live with naturally draws eyes, naturally awakens curiosity, and naturally commands a respect that titles cannot purchase. When God is using you to humble the mighty, He turns your life into a silent sermon. You become a walking lesson, a breathing example, a demonstration of principles that they have never mastered. They are used to authority that comes from external positions, but you carry authority that comes from internal alignment with God. You are a living reminder that true greatness comes from character, integrity, resilience, and divine connection, not from status, not from money, not from social influence. And so they watch you more intently than they watch themselves. They begin comparing their reactions to yours, questioning their own motives, and even adjusting their behavior after seeing how effortlessly you navigate situations that overwhelm others. Your life exposes what they lack: groundedness, peace, truth, direction, and spiritual depth. They study you not because they want to praise you, but because something in you confronts something in them. They don't say it out loud, but internally they recognize that God is using your life as a measuring rod, not to shame them, but to awaken them. 4. They copy you quietly. When God uses you to humble the mighty, something remarkable happens. They begin to imitate you, often without ever admitting it. You may notice subtle shifts around you. Someone starts adopting a habit you naturally maintain, or mirrors the way you approach, challenges, organize your life, or carry yourself with calm authority. They attempt to replicate your style, your demeanor, even your decision-making patterns, because your authenticity exposes the superficiality of their authority. The mighty often rely on external trappings, titles, money, influence, or loudness, to maintain their image, but they see in you something they cannot manufacture: real substance, quiet confidence, and an inner power that comes from alignment with God. They want the results you achieve, the respect you command, and the influence you wield, but they are unwilling to walk the same path of discipline, resilience, and spiritual growth that brought you there. Their imitation, though silent, is revealing. They unconsciously acknowledge that your approach works, even when theirs fails. They study you like an unspoken blueprint, hoping to unlock the secret to your success without embracing the integrity and effort that made it possible. But God allows this imitation as a subtle way to humble them. They see excellence and instinctively desire it, yet they remain disconnected from the source that produces it. Your life becomes a mirror that reflects their gaps, insecurities, and dependence on outward power. And through this process they are forced to confront the truth. Real influence cannot be copied, it must be cultivated from the inside out. The mighty may attempt to mirror your actions, but they cannot replicate your spirit, and it is this very realization that humbles them. Every silent act of imitation is a testimony to your authenticity, a signal that God is elevating you in ways they cannot fake or control. 5. They feel small when they realize you can't be bought. Mighty people often assume that loyalty, attention, and influence can be purchased with benefits, gifts, flattery, or opportunities. They are accustomed to people bending, complying, or compromising for personal gain. But when God uses you to humble them, they quickly realize that your principles are untouchable. You operate on a level where your integrity is priceless and cannot be bribed, bargained, or swayed by worldly incentives. Your refusal to compromise on values, even under pressure, challenges their perception of control. They are forced to confront the uncomfortable truth that strength and power are not measured by what can be acquired or manipulated, but by what cannot be bought or corrupted. They see that your influence comes not from external rewards, but from spiritual depth, consistency, and alignment with a higher purpose. And this realization makes them feel small because everything they have relied upon, their status, their leverage, their wealth, cannot penetrate the armor of your integrity. They understand, consciously or subconsciously, that true respect and authority cannot be coerced. It must be earned, cultivated, and sustained from a place of authenticity. God uses your incorruptibility as a divine tool to expose how fragile their influence really is. When they witness your unshakable loyalty to what is right and your inability to be purchased, their pride begins to crumble. Their usual methods of dominance and control fail to operate against someone grounded in righteousness and divine favor. They become aware that no amount of effort, no clever scheme, and no status can undermine the values that guide your life. This awareness is a spiritual humbling, a quiet but profound recognition that God is using you as an instrument, to demonstrate the enduring power of incorruptibility. 6. Your wisdom destroys their pride. Wisdom is more than knowledge. It is insight, discernment, and understanding that transcends age, experience, and even formal education. When God uses you to humble the mighty, your words carry an authority that cannot be challenged because they come from a place of divine alignment. Even the most arrogant or self-assured individuals find themselves reconsidering previously unshakable beliefs when confronted with your perspective. Your speech is measured, thoughtful, and purposeful, yet it penetrates deeper than any loud argument or display of intellectual superiority could. They cannot dismiss your wisdom because it is grounded in experience, integrity, and spiritual insight that goes beyond superficial titles or social position. Each time you speak with calm authority, they are forced to face the limitations of their pride. They begin questioning things they once assumed as truths, and they feel a subtle unease as their certainty diminishes. This process is not about you proving yourself or winning an argument. It is about God using your life as a conduit of truth. Your wisdom illuminates what they lack: understanding, humility, and a connection to a higher source of knowledge. Pride, which has often allowed them to dominate and intimidate others, begins to erode because they recognize that real power does not come from showing off or exerting control. It comes from insight, clarity, and alignment with divine principles. Your knowledge humbles them silently as they see that your decisions, your clarity, and your foresight consistently reflect truth. Every interaction becomes a mirror, reflecting the inadequacy of arrogance when faced with genuine wisdom. And in that reflection, they are reminded that titles, wealth, and influence are meaningless without understanding, integrity, and a connection to God. 7. They can't manipulate you. Mighty people are often experts at controlling others. They rely on manipulation, intimidation, guilt, or pressure to bend situations to their favor. They have perfected the art of influencing people through fear, coercion, and strategic flattery, assuming that everyone will respond predictably. But when God is using you to humble them, all of their tactics fail. Every attempt to sway you falls flat, as if an invisible barrier shields your spirit. You are anchored in a foundation that is not of this world, rooted in divine alignment and moral clarity. You see through their strategies long before they are even fully articulated. Their usual methods of control, whether emotional, psychological, or social, are powerless against someone whose strength is derived from God rather than circumstance or ego. This resistance humbles them profoundly because it exposes the illusion of their authority. They realize that their influence is only as strong as the willingness of others to comply, and when they meet someone whose loyalty, decisions, and actions are governed by spiritual discernment, they confront the uncomfortable truth. Their power is limited, fragile, and temporary. God uses your ability to stand firm as a divine lesson, teaching them that true influence is earned through integrity, character, and alignment with higher principles, not through intimidation or manipulation. Every time they try to twist the narrative or exert control over you and fail, their pride diminishes. They are forced to confront the reality that power is not about forcing outcomes. It is about living with a quiet strength that commands respect naturally. Your unwavering stance becomes a testimony that real authority cannot be manufactured. It is cultivated from the inside out, and nothing external can shake it. This is a humbling experience for anyone who has relied on coercion rather than authenticity to assert their dominance. 8. Your favor annoys them. While the mighty expend efforts scrambling for attention, recognition, or opportunity, you find that blessings flow to you effortlessly. Doors open without knocking, Support comes without pleading, and opportunities arrive without orchestrating or maneuvering for them. This is the supernatural favor of God at work, and it frustrates those who rely on networks, leverage, and influence to achieve results. The mighty are trained to believe that success is earned through connections, schemes, and exertion, but they see you thriving without any of the struggles or manipulations they expect. Your rise highlights a truth they cannot deny. Divine favor is unearned, unbought, and unstoppable. It works independently of human calculation and reveals a higher law at play, one that cannot be controlled by wealth, status, or intimidation. This supernatural support exposes their reliance on worldly methods and underscores their limitations. They watch in silent frustration as your growth, opportunities, and success appear natural, effortless, and aligned with a higher purpose. Each blessing you receive, each breakthrough, and each moment of recognition reminds them that human control is secondary to divine orchestration. They may try to compete, strategize, or even sabotage, but your favor cannot be hindered. This realization chips away at their pride because it demonstrates the futility of their attempts to control outcomes they cannot influence. God's hand in your life is visible to those who are watching closely, even if they cannot articulate it. The mighty are humbled, not through confrontation, but through the undeniable reality that some forces in life operate beyond manipulation, and you are living proof of that truth. 9. They realize God is with you. This is the ultimate sign, the pinnacle of divine intervention. At some point, even the most self-assured and mighty individuals recognize that something greater than human effort surrounds you. They may not vocalize it, may not even consciously articulate it, but deep inside they feel the presence of God at work through your life. Your resilience, your breakthroughs, your protection, and your spiritual growth all testify to a higher power guiding your steps. They see it in the way challenges are navigated effortlessly, in the way opportunities seem to align perfectly, and in the way your character remains unshakable under pressure. Fighting you becomes a terrifying proposition because they sense, even if only subconsciously, that opposing you is tantamount to opposing God Himself. This recognition humbles them completely. Titles, money, influence, networks, and strategies, once sources of pride and confidence, suddenly pale in comparison to the divine guidance that propels you forward. They are forced to confront the ultimate truth. Human power is transient, fragile, and often hollow without alignment with the Creator. Your life becomes a living testament to God's sovereignty and providence. When they sense that their schemes, influence, and authority are powerless against the hand of God, their pride crumbles. The mighty may bow not to you personally, but to the undeniable truth of God's work manifesting in your life. This realization transforms the dynamic entirely. It is no longer about human comparison or competition. It is about witnessing the supernatural elevation of someone chosen and guided. In that recognition, they are humbled, made to see that divine power surpasses all worldly might, and that God's chosen ones move under protection, favor, and anointing that cannot be contested, imitated, or defeated. Chosen one, if these signs resonated with your spirit, then understand this: God is preparing you not just to rise, but to reveal. Your life is a living testimony that true power comes from above, not from earthly positions. This is the Zillion Mind Channel. If this message reached you at the exact moment you needed it, make sure to subscribe, and as a prophetic act of alignment, type 1111 in the comments section to receive divine blessings, breakthroughs, and spiritual protection. Your elevation has already begun. Walk in it boldly. Thank you for watching. There are unions that look ordinary, and then there are divine alignments, connections written in the heavens long before two souls ever touched the earth. When a chosen one marries a chosen one, it is not simply a relationship, it is a spiritual contract, a cosmic partnership formed for a purpose far beyond romance. Their connection is a collision of destiny and design, a merging of light that shakes environments, shifts atmospheres, and signals to the unseen realm that purpose is about to be multiplied. This message is for those who feel called to something deeper, those who know their spirit is not built for average love, but for a supernatural connection that activates miracles. Before we begin, if you are hearing this message at the exact moment your spirit needed it, if something inside you is waking up, aligning, or confirming what you already sensed, make sure you subscribe, because messages like this don't show up by coincidence. And if this reaches you in divine timing, I want you to type 1111 in the comments section as a prophetic sign that divine blessings, divine alignment, and divine partnership are being released into your life right now. 1. Their spiritual frequency doubles the moment they unite. When two chosen ones come together, something extraordinary begins to unfold in the unseen world, something far beyond romance, affection, or human compatibility. Their energy fields don't simply blend, they ignite, creating a frequency so powerful that it alters the spiritual atmosphere around them. Individually, each chosen one already carries heightened intuition, deep spiritual perception, a strong sense of purpose, and an aura that naturally commands attention. But when destiny brings them together, the frequency they generate amplifies exponentially. It becomes a transmission that radiates into the spirit realm, letting every force, light or darkness, know that a divine alignment has occurred. Together, their prayers take on new dimensions, their dreams sharpen, and their discernment becomes razor clear. They begin to operate as one synchronized vessel, moving with divine timing and supernatural cohesion. Their union becomes a lighthouse, a spiritual landmark that guides lost souls, awakens dormant spirits, and reveals truth in the lives of those around them. Darkness cannot stand in their presence. Confusion cannot survive in their space. They shine with a radiant authority that exposes deception, uplifts the broken, and ignites hope in those who had given up. When a chosen one marries another chosen one, heaven acknowledges it instantly. Their union becomes a signal that echoes across realms. Purpose has awakened. Destiny has united. Prepare the way. And from that moment forward, their lives begin to unfold in ways that feel divinely synchronized, spiritually charged, and incredibly purposeful. 2. Their angels combine assignments. Every chosen one walks with heavenly assistance, angels, guardians, divine protectors assigned to guide their steps, shield their path, and ensure they remain aligned with their spiritual purpose. From birth, these angelic beings watch over them, fight invisible battles on their behalf, and intervene during moments when danger tries to overtake them. But when two chosen ones unite in marriage, the angelic realm responds with profound movement. The covering over their lives intensifies, multiplies, and begins to operate with a unity and strategy that is impossible to break. Instead of each chosen one having their own separate angelic team working individually, heaven merges these assignments, forming a single, fortified, and synchronized divine force. This combined protection creates a hedge so strong that attacks which once penetrated easily now dissolve before even reaching them. Delays turn into sudden breakthroughs. Burdens that once felt heavy become light. Energy that was previously drained is now replenished effortlessly because they are no longer fighting alone. The spiritual atmosphere around them becomes heavily guarded, like a fortress protected on all sides. Darkness cannot infiltrate it. Manipulation cannot operate within it. What once caused stress, confusion, or emotional exhaustion loses its power completely. Their angels begin to strategize together, covering the couple's home, their purpose, their movements, and their future. Their union becomes spiritually impenetrable, not because life becomes easy, but because heaven has invested greater force, greater attention, and greater protection into their assignment. A chosen marriage activates a level of divine security that the enemy cannot decode, penetrate, or overpower. 3. Their purpose accelerates faster than they can understand. A chosen one walking alone carries tremendous potential, spiritual wisdom, and divine responsibility. But when they unite with another chosen one, the level of acceleration that takes place is often beyond anything they imagined or planned. Their union activates dormant gifts, unlocks hidden strengths, and awakens spiritual abilities they may not have even realized were sleeping inside them. Together, they sharpen one another the way iron sharpens iron, not through competition but through divine complement, spiritual compatibility, and mutual awakening. Suddenly, ideas begin to flow with supernatural clarity. Opportunities emerge without force. Doors that were once sealed shut swing open with unusual ease. Divine connections appear, people whose presence aligns with their mission and amplifies their calling. Their purpose no longer walks, it runs. And they don't chase destiny. Destiny pursues them with urgency. This acceleration can feel overwhelming at first, because it moves at the speed of divine alignment rather than human timing. But everything begins to make sense as they grow together. Their talents blend, their vision expands, their assignments merge in a way that transforms their individual callings into a unified spiritual mandate. They become unstoppable, not because they are perfect, but because their union is ordained. The spiritual realm recognizes their partnership as a divine activation, a signal that a greater mission has begun. What they manifest together becomes far greater than anything they could have produced alone. Their marriage becomes a catalyst, an ignition point that accelerates destiny with breathtaking speed. 4. Their prayers manifest with unusual speed. When a chosen one prays alone, heaven listens attentively. Their words carry weight because their heart carries purity, sincerity, and spiritual authority. When two chosen ones unite in prayer, the impact multiplies to a level that is almost indescribable. Their prayers harmonize like two powerful frequencies aligning perfectly, creating a spiritual resonance that moves through realms with force and clarity. Heaven responds swiftly, boldly, and unmistakably, because their unity creates a channel that amplifies divine communication. When they pray together, confusion breaks instantly. Obstacles lose their foundation, strongholds collapse, delays turn into rapid movement. Their words carry authority because they are spoken from a place of alignment, agreement, and holy unity. They don't pray out of fear, they pray from a seat of spiritual dominion. They don't beg, they decree. And heaven honors their decree because their union is rooted in obedience, purity, purpose, and divine timing. Miracles begin to manifest so quickly that even they are sometimes left in awe. Answers appear before they finish asking. Signs confirm their direction without them seeking reassurance. Resources flow in unexpectedly. Healing takes place effortlessly. The supernatural becomes natural for them because heaven is actively involved in their marriage. Their connection becomes a spiritual portal, a gateway through which divine intervention moves freely and frequently. Their unified prayers become a living testimony that when two chosen ones agree, nothing is impossible. 5. Their presence becomes healing to everyone around them. Chosen ones naturally carry an atmosphere that influences every environment they step into. Even before they speak, their presence shifts the emotional and spiritual temperature of a room. But when two chosen ones unite, This influence magnifies dramatically. Their combined presence becomes soothing, warm, grounding, and spiritually restorative. People around them begin to feel a peace they can't explain, a calmness they didn't know they needed, and a sense of hope they may have lost long ago. They radiate stability, clarity, and authenticity, qualities that are rare in a world filled with chaos, fear, and superficial connections. Their union becomes a silent ministry, one that requires no stage, no microphone, and no title. Simply by existing together, they model loyalty, balance, respect, and spiritual maturity. Couples in conflict begin to reconcile after encountering their energy. Individuals struggling emotionally begin to feel strengthened. Families that were divided begin to mend. Their presence becomes a reminder that sacred love still exists, that divine alignment is real, and that genuine spiritual partnership is possible. People don't just see them, they feel them. They sense the purity of their connection, the depth of their bond, and the spiritual power that surrounds them. Friends begin to grow. Strangers feel comforted. Broken hearts feel uplifted. Their union becomes a sanctuary, a spiritual refuge for those who are hurting or searching for direction. They don't force healing. It naturally flows from them because their marriage is aligned with purpose, divine truth, and heavenly assignment. Their love becomes a living testimony, a light that illuminates the path for others, and a healing force that restores the souls of all who cross their path. 6. They become invisible to the wrong people and magnetic to the right ones. Before marriage, chosen ones often attract the wrong kind of people. Energy drainers, manipulators, opportunists, narcissists, and spiritually disconnected individuals who sense their light but want to misuse it. Many chosen ones experience a pattern of being surrounded by takers rather than givers, pretenders rather than supporters. But once a chosen one marries another chosen one, that entire dynamic shifts dramatically. Their union recalibrates their spiritual frequency in a way that becomes completely inaccessible to the wrong people. Those who once tried to manipulate them suddenly lose interest. Those who once pursued them for selfish reasons become spiritually blocked from reaching them. The wrong individuals find themselves confused, repelled, or disconnected without understanding why. Their energy no longer resonates with low-vibrational people, and their spirits naturally become invisible to those who cannot walk with them into their divine assignment. At the same time, they become incredibly magnetic to the right people. Mentors, destiny helpers, allies, supporters, and divine connections who have been prepared for their next chapter. Opportunities that once felt distant suddenly align. Influential individuals begin to notice them, respect them, and gravitate toward them. New relationships form with people who share their purpose, values, and spiritual trajectory. Their circle upgrades itself, the counterfeit exits, and the chosen enter. Doors open not because they chase them, but because their union emits a frequency of alignment and readiness. They attract everything meant for them: resources, wisdom, partnerships, and growth, while becoming invisible to anything that could hinder their mission. Their marriage becomes a filter that removes the impure and draws in the divine. 7. Their love awakens ancestral breakthroughs. When a chosen couple marries, the impact reaches far beyond their individual lives. Their union begins to cleanse, restore, and transform their entire bloodline. Generational cycles that persisted for decades, patterns of poverty, broken relationships, fear, trauma, addiction, spiritual confusion, or emotional instability, begin to dissolve under the weight of their spiritual authority. What their ancestors silently battled, what previous generations couldn't overcome, becomes weakened in their presence. They become the turning point, the reset, the interruption to generational pain. Their love restores what was stolen, heals what was wounded, and completes what was left unfinished, They become the redemption of their lineage, the answered prayer, the fulfilled prophecy, the miracle that earlier generations hoped for but never lived to see. Their marriage plants new spiritual seeds, seeds of clarity, strength, stability, wisdom, and divine purpose. Children born from their union, whether biological or spiritual, inherit a legacy of empowerment rather than brokenness. Their marriage creates a new blueprint, one that shifts the trajectory of their family for generations to come. Ancestral breakthroughs begin to manifest in dreams, in opportunities, in emotional healing, and in spiritual awakening among relatives who may not even understand why everything is changing. Their union becomes a generational cleansing, a spiritual rebirth that breaks cycles and births a new lineage of authority, peace, and abundance. Their love story becomes more than their own. It becomes the long-awaited liberation of an entire bloodline. 8. They experience supernatural protection from life's storms. Chosen ones are not exempt from challenges. Life still brings storms, battles, and seasons of uncertainty. But what makes chosen couples different is how they move through those storms. When one is weary, the other becomes strength. When one is spiritually attacked, the other intercedes with power. When one feels lost, the other sees clearly. Their connection becomes a shield, a spiritual covering, and a powerful defense against chaos. Because their marriage is ordained, they are protected in ways that defy logic. What should have broken them becomes the very thing that builds them. What was meant to destroy them turns into a testimony. What was designed to weaken them strengthens their bond and deepens their spiritual insight. Storms pass faster. Attacks lose their effectiveness. Problems dissolve before they escalate. They do not crumble under pressure. They rise. They do not fall apart. They unite. They do not lose faith. They anchor themselves in divine purpose. Their protection is not just physical, it's emotional, mental, spiritual, and generational. Heaven surrounds their union with a level of reinforcement that ensures they are never overtaken, never defeated, never consumed. Every challenge becomes a stepping stone. Every setback becomes preparation. Every trial becomes a lesson that elevates them. Their union becomes a fortress, a place where storms may roar but cannot destroy. They walk through adversity with grace because they are wrapped in supernatural protection, divinely guided and spiritually sustained. 9. They create a legacy that outlives them. Chosen ones never marry for superficial reasons. Their union is rooted in destiny, assignment, and future impact. When they come together, they begin building something that extends far beyond their lifespan. Their love becomes a seed that grows into legacy, something that influences people they will never meet, shapes generations yet to be born, and leaves a permanent mark on the world. Their children, whether through birth, mentorship, or spiritual influence, become carriers of their wisdom, strength, and purpose. Their teachings, their story, their resilience, and their spiritual discipline echo through time. Their marriage becomes a blueprint for others, a demonstration of what divine love, spiritual alignment, and chosen purpose look like in action. They build more than a home. They build a destiny. They create more than memories. They create movement. Their union becomes a spiritual monument, a testimony of what happens when divine timing aligns two souls with a heavenly mission. Even after they leave the earth, the seeds they planted continue to grow, their impact multiplies, their influence spreads, their legacy becomes eternal. Their love story becomes a chapter in the spiritual history of their bloodline, a masterpiece that outlives their physical presence. They are not just remembered, they are honored. They are not just loved, they are studied, and everything they built together becomes a gift to the world, a divine inheritance passed down to all who come after them. When a chosen one marries a chosen one, heaven doesn't just witness it, Heaven participates in it. This kind of union is not built on physical attraction alone, nor on temporary emotions, nor on earthly compatibility. It is built on divine orchestration, on purpose-driven alignment, on spiritual maturity, and on a shared calling that prepares both souls for greater assignments. These two do not walk as individuals anymore. They walk as a unified force, two flames merging into one unquenchable fire. Their relationship becomes a prophecy fulfilled, a testimony unfolding, and a miracle in motion. They show the world that love can be sacred, intentional, powerful, and transformative. They reveal that when God writes the story, no human can interrupt it, no darkness can overshadow it, and no weapon formed against it can stand. Their bond becomes the living proof that destiny is real, timing is divine, and spiritual partnerships still exist in this world. If you are waiting for a chosen partner, preparing for one, or praying for clarity, trust the timing. Trust the process. Trust what is unfolding behind the scenes, because when the right soul meets the right soul, everything aligns effortlessly. And when two chosen ones finally recognize each other, the miracles begin before they even say "I do." This is the Zillion Mind channel. Like the video, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more spiritual awakening videos. If this video got you at the time you most needed, type 1111 in the comments section. Thank you for watching.